Okay, so this is our tutorial on shoulder hooping. Now, hopefully you'll have watched my previous video on chest hooping and you'll be super comfortable with that. As I discussed in my previous video, we are essentially trying to get a circular object to travel around a pretty considerable rectangle, right? And this is hard. It's not easy to manage that with the standard laws of physics, right? So you have to work really hard in order to keep that hoop going around your chest, primarily due to these flat planes. And what do you think happens to those flat planes when you bring your arms in? Yeah, they get even longer. So in the same way that we were having to work hard while chest hooping, we have to work even harder when we bring our arms in. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it is not an easy thing to learn. I can honestly say it took me a year and a half before this even began to come together for me. And even then my timing was super off, and it took a long time. So I'm not saying that to discourage anyone, I'm saying that so as you're kind of realistic in terms of what you expect for yourself. This is a gradual process and no one's going to judge you for that. It'll work out awesome, just stick with it. So, we're doing the same thing when we're shoulder hooping, in that our chest is still drawing a circle. We're still doing it by pushing into the hoop as it contacts with our chest and pushing into it with our back as it contacts with our back. But we need to help it on the corners, and we do that by using our arms. So, this is the movement that we're going for. Now, it looks super easy, but there's so much going on. Essentially what is happening is, as the hoop is travelling around my body and it's going to contact with my arm, this arm is going to come back. So that when the hoop contacts with that arm, I'm going to pull my arm around as I push my chest into it, right? And at that point, the hoop's going to be coming around to contact with this arm, and so this arm's going to be forward, so that when the hoop does contact with it, I can sweep that arm back, right? You might be thinking, how on earth am I going to keep track of that when the hoop's got momentum in it? Very easily, because I've got a really good example of the motion that we're going for. Imagine, or recall, those times when you were a teenager and your mother had asked you to polish the dining room table. And of course, rather than do that, you sat on your phone, or you, I don't know, looked at magazines or something. And then before you knew it, your mum was back and she was walking in, and you jumped up and went, "Oh, I am polishing the table." And just at that, you look down and your phone or the magazine or whatever other evidence there was is sitting right there. I want you to imagine that you're polishing the table and then sweeping that evidence away. That's what we're going for. If you're hooping to your left, that's the movement we're going for. It's what I call a wipe and swipe, right? So we're going forward, around, sweeping forward and around. And this movement becomes a lot easier if you turn with it. It's also super important that your arms are relaxed, right? There's no need to go Thunderbird. Okay, this is not going to help anyone, it's going to make it even more difficult. You get a much better range of motion and a much stronger range of motion when your arms are relaxed. So you know, use that. You don't need to go rigid. Whatever you do not bring your arms in front of you, because this might make a circle, but believe me, this way of shoulder hooping, is not attractive, okay? It might work and you might be able to keep the hoop around your shoulders, but would you really want to do it? No, not really. It's way better if you're just relaxed, okay? And you can see my hands making that motion that I was talking about. Wipe and swipe. Please give yourself time with this one. If you have any difficulties with it, let me know and I'll do my best to help. But honestly, it just comes down to practice. Be patient and it will work out.